everyone, Jason here, host of the BombCast with a special guest joining us today.
Wait, you're the special guest. You're here.
That's true. I'm the special guest. I'm in Pennsylvania hanging out with Steve. We've been shooting videos all week, and we're coming to you live from his office. If you didn't know, Steve is our CMO at BombBomb and is remote. He actually doesn't get to work with us in the offices day in and day out. So anytime we get to come out here, it's a good thing. So Steve's joining us today. It's going to be a lot of fun. And our guest, Jesse Peters, who's the real
special guest.
The real special guest here. You may have seen this guy's face around before. He was one of our first guests on the BombCast when we first launched. We're bringing him back. Jesse, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, man?
Well, it is so good to be back in BombBomb Nation. Folks, my name is Jesse Peters, Mr. Social Savvy. Been running with the BombBomb crew for many a year, starting with their product and now some amazing friendships and relationships have built as the power of video, begins to, show its full capacity. Like, it's no longer just the tip of the iceberg, which is really exciting. And so I think I was guest number one.
Number one. Now we're on episode 25. If you've just joined us, drop a comment in, let us know that you're watching. The reason we go live week in and week out is to give you access to people who are absolutely crushing it in video, so you can ask them your questions to understand what they're doing in their businesses. We've got some fun things we're going to cover today, but make sure you're dropping those questions in. We're watching those comments as well. Now, if you've been watching the BombCast for some time, you know that we like to kick things off with the segment that we do in the offices. Anytime we bring on a new employee, we like to ask them a series of questions. So let's just get to know them a little bit more than what's your name and the typical things.
And
right?
how are you using video.
Exactly. So
which we're going to get to.
We will. And so Jesse is a real person, and you may or may not realize, but he's a pretty fascinating guy. He does a lot of other things than just video. So got 3 or 4 questions. We understand Jesse a little bit more. So Jesse, the first question I have for you is, what were you doing before you were a real estate agent?
What was I doing? Well, you know what? I was doing a lot of things before I was a realtor. But like right before, I was involved in social media and marketing and advertising. I worked with the Yellow Pages, so I sold print. And just as print was transforming into the internet and copying ads and selling SEO and SEM, I was really swinging big and hitting home runs there. So
you were selling print, but dreaming about video the entire time.
It's insane, actually. It is insane, right? And you just hit your ceiling, in that world. And so then I kind of got out of that gig. I jumped on with Living Social, kind of the competitors with Groupon back in the day. And I was like, ooh, free trip to Washington, D.C. and an iPad. I'm like, well, let's go, right? So that I did that for a few months. And then what actually was coming around, a friend of mine who was a realtor for like the last 7 or 8 years said, Jess, we've got a boutique, brokerage. We've got an idea. I said, okay, well, let's chat. And they pitched me the idea of being the social media manager for their office, because there was a big push from NAR that year going into this kind of having a social media management job. And so I went in and I interviewed it amongst kind of like, I don't know, the 6 people that run it all. And they're like, we think you should be a realtor. And I was like, I want a 9-to-5 job. And shit. Here I am selling 3 homes the first week I jumped into real estate, and it's never turned back, right? It's kind of bizarre, but I've been a bartender. I've worked for radio stations. I was a mascot for our Canadian Football League team here. All sorts of things. So.
All right. So next one is, what is the favorite car you have ever owned?
Geez. My father-in-law owns a GM dealership. So actually, I got 2 here. Okay. It was probably the last car before marrying into a GM family, which was an Infiniti FX35. I was like, baller. I don't know why I had an SUV. It was just me. But the one that jumps out to me the most was my first car, a 1987 Ford Tempo. 2 doors. Like I put like 100,000 clicks on that baby, and tape player. Cruise control, and could feel the puddles splash under my feet as I was driving. I think I picked it up for like a couple grand, and I was 18 years old. So it's probably realistically the Ford Tempo, but I'm not much of a big car guy. You asked me this model or this model, I'm like,
yeah. All right, Steve's got the next question.
Yeah, and I know we want to get to the video questions and we want to get to value fast. So quick, Jesse, what would be your splurge if money were no object? Go. First thing that comes to mind.
I'd buy an island.
Buy an island. That's an awesome answer.
Yeah, see that first thing? I'm like, stop thinking. I would buy an island.
No, that's totally legit.
Big fan of that kind of living and world. So.
And lastly, describe the worst haircut you've ever had.
Oh, good gosh. Although it is near and dear to my heart, I would not go back to this haircut of the New Kids on the Block, shave the line around the entire head. I believe I had the Jordan Knight hairstyle.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
I thought it would work with the ladies. I did a perm, but a buddy of mine did a perm, and that went backwards. So it was definitely that one. Now people would say, well, Jesse, the time you shaved your head, never do that again. I guess I kind of got rounder, and I thought I looked tough as F. But
I bet. All right, so let's jump in, Jesse. You know, if you're just joining us, welcome to the BombCast, episode 25. We're talking with Jesse Peters, real estate agent up in Winnipeg.
Number two, all-around video influencer, and we're going to jump into some of those topics. And one of the reasons why he was all-around, because he's got varied strategies. And so we have about 4 things here. We're going to cover. Why don't you do the first one with 30 with 30?
So you've talked a lot about this idea of 30 for 30. Why don't you go ahead and explain a little bit of the premise? And you've done this once, and you're in the midst of doing it again. Tell us about 30 for 30.
So 30 for 30 is a lot of people shorten it down to 30 and 30, and you know, it's your 30 favorite places in your area, right? That you farm in, that you grew up in, that you love, right? 30 favorite places in 30 days, right? So it's this idea of showcasing, you know, a business, a park, an activity, and really focusing on, I think it's applicable in our world as realtors, building know, like, and trust beyond the real estate transaction. And it's, you know, hey, that guy's more relatable to me, or hey, he does know more than houses, and he is showcasing that you are the expert in that area. Hey, the donut shop is here, the coffee shop is here. Oh, here's the elementary school that's for this ages. Oh, here's the bike path that leads to the mountains that you didn't know about that you could be buying in your area. Now, we don't have mountains in our area, but I just like that.
But you got bike paths. You guys have those at least.
But we got bike paths, right? And so it was kind of the, you know, the more than real estate, being the local expert. And what's really neat is, sure, a lot of the people in the area know of these places, but when you get to tell them why you love it, maybe there's something new, right? Maybe there's something that's not on the menu. Maybe there's something here, right? And so we started with that, and it was also the launch where I was like, okay, I got to get into video here, and you know, through repetition, that's how you begin to grow and scale and see progress, right? And so the moment I said online, I'm doing 30 places in 30 days, I held myself accountable, right?
And so how long ago was it that you did your first 30 for 30?
4 years ago, June 1st, 2014.
Okay, so 2014, you did your first 30 for 30. And what came out of doing it that first time that was some of the big ahas for you of like, okay, wow, that was actually something that was meaningful for my business?
Yeah, I think, first of all, probably after day 3 or day 4, how easy it actually was just to hold your phone out and just talk. Get a little bit comfortable with seeing myself, but also realizing, oh, don't look at the screen.
Right.
Like you're talking to somebody. And then the big things were the engagement and the views. And now the views were through the roof back in those days, sharing it from YouTube onto Facebook and then uploading to Facebook separately. And because there wasn't a lot of video content then, it was like, what is going on here? And it was like 30 to 60 seconds. And then so when I had the idea to stand in front of the businesses that I want and tag them and ask them to share it, the amazing thing was the next time I went into that location, they're like, thank you. That was awesome. Cool. And so it's just like great conversation starters, right? Like, oh, hey, people are, they're like, hey, that's the guy from here. As I'm doing day 28, they're referencing day 15. So as realtors in our kind of business, it was we're always looking for opportunities to start conversations. That's what it was, right? So getting comfortable, showcasing, almost developing little partnerships in the area. So then when I go back and I say, hey, can I talk to you more about your ribs at the Civil Rights Restaurant? Sure, Jess, come on in. Now all of a sudden they're recommending me. And if they're a fan of that page, well, then therefore they must trust me. And conversations about real estate happened a lot faster. And so that was, the big takeaway. But also, when I started in real estate, 2014, when was my summer? 2012 I started. So it was a little bit more of Jesse's also in real estate, right?
Gotcha.
Kind of, there would be 30 days, but it wouldn't be, hey, you're a social savvy realtor or anything like that. But there'd be a couple points throughout those 30 days. Hey, by the way, I love this place and you will too, if you were looking to call this area your home.
Right.
If you want to chat about Silver Heights, let's talk numbers over coffee, right? So just dropping that in and hitting a newer audience, right? Besides just your sphere of influence.
Yeah, Jesse, it's funny, when you were describing that, the takeaway that I got out of that is, I would think that 30 for 30 is for experienced people using video. But what you mentioned a few times and throughout is one, it gave you almost like a content calendar. It was a systematic way for people to get comfortable. And it was the fast path to being good at video because of repetition and doing it so often. So, the listeners and everyone watching this video right now, I think if you are new, that is the takeaway right there. It's just forcing you to get out there and do it and providing the path to execute and do it.
Exactly. It's not overthinking it. The moment you overthink, like, oh, I need a microphone. Oh, I need light. Oh, I need it's too windy. I didn't even do any of that. I had an iPhone 4S and just held it and talked and go.
Right.
So less people cared about that. They want to see, hey, what's Jesse going to be talking about today?
Right. So, for the sake of time, let's fast forward, right? Over the last 4 years, you've grown in your expertise with video. You've started implementing a bunch of other strategies. But here we are in the beginning of June, and you're doing it again. You're going through the process. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you?
Because I'm crazy. Do I need to? I probably don't. But there was something inside of me, and I talk about this a lot in our video boot camps and the webinars and all sorts of things, is trusting your gut. Right? There's something inside of me saying, hey, you should do that again. Hey, do that again. Right? And so when it kind of lined up to say, okay, June's here, 30 days. It's not a complete gong show with work and life. Can I manage this? And I said, yeah, let's do this. And so much had changed in 4 years, because we're 2018 now. Where I live is in a different part of the city now. I've got kids, so there's different favorite things, right? There's newer businesses that I'm more drawn to. Plus, I have a real estate team now. And the idea here was getting to know my partner, Addison, who's been with us for about 3/4 of a year, on a more personal level too. Know, like, and trust. Besides him in our listing videos and talking real estate, what else can Addison bring in? So the big challenge is, because I teach this at video boot camps, is like, oh, you can do this with a team too, and I'm going to show you how, right? And then the social strategies have changed. So we're doing this project so that it can be talked about for webinars and seminars and boot camps coming up, because I'm just like a majority of the people doing it for 30 for 30s. I'm a realtor too. This adds value, but now on the different level, right? There's so many excuses. Right. Oh, I've got a team of 20. We can't do this. Actually, if you have a team of 20, it's even easier, right? Because you got to get 2 or 3 days together and you can rotate and showcase.
Well, so I'm sure you guys got together at the beginning of the month and just like cranked this out, shot like 5 a day, just got it all done, pre-recorded, and you're just releasing them each day, right? That's like the process?
Yeah, right. That'd be too easy. We don't take the easy route around here, right? The idea here is, okay, like, it's kind of like cheating in my mind. Now, I get it. People do it and life happens.
Right.
If I'm doing 30 for 30, the challenge is to shoot a video, to edit a video in one day. And you just keep that ball. You get overwhelmed if you're doing 10 at a time. So it's kind of like, if it's raining on a Wednesday and I'm showing something that says day 12 and it's sunny as hell, what does that show? That takes away my credibility, right? I could say, well, I'm in sunny St. James. It's always sunny here, but no. So the challenge
so to clarify,
20 minutes and do it.
You're doing these every day for 30 days.
Yes.
And what happens if like your day gets busy and you like aren't posting like at an optimal time, or like what, like tell me about that.
Okay, so yeah, I totally get the day busy, right? And especially, you know, between showings, between meetings, between listings, between picking up kids from daycare, between schools and activities and whatnot, right? Like I get it. So usually what we're doing now is we're shooting during the day, right? I'm taking 15 minutes, you know, because it doesn't have to be long here. And sometimes it's a few takes, sometimes it isn't.
Right.
Or it's thinking of where you're going to shoot, but it doesn't really optimal time. To be honest with you, in the social world, for the audience I'm connecting with, is after 9 o'clock at night, when everyone else has done their days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When are we watching? Right? When are the likes and the comments coming? So like the launch of day 4 happens at 9 o'clock at night and it runs through. So that gives me the whole day. I'm not feeling pressure. Oh my God, I got to edit this and put it out by 6 o'clock. I think the world cares less now about what the optimal time is. Right? Yeah. People are watching when everything else is done in their day. So I don't think you pay attention to those, but I don't think it has to be as hard line to the optimal time is 3:45.
So you were telling me like you shot one. Out. So you're saying you shot one, you got it posted in that evening, you woke up the next morning and it already had 500 views and a bunch of interaction.
Sure.
While you were sleeping. Right?
Wait, but and this is something you mentioned to us earlier, all organic, because you wanted to, is this true? You want to see if you don't want to pay a dime, you're testing it out.
Don't want to pay a dime, man. Exactly. And this is the other thing that we're seeing. Oh my goodness, since Facebook's changed its algorithm, I've got no reach. Want to bet? Right? So I'm testing it out.
I'm testing it out. Mr. Peters,
I'm annoyed with it. Like really, here's the thing though. Before I used to just post it on my personal page to get to get it rolling. The rules have changed a bit. So it's going on my business page, okay? Share it to my personal page with a different message. So it's not straight copycatted, right? And then we're putting it on YouTube, and then I'm doing an Instagram feed, and then we're doing an Insta story, right? Hitting it all up with a little bit of a different twist.
Nice. Love it. Hey, if you're just joining us, welcome to the BombCast. I'll pump a couple people just jump on. If you got questions for Jesse, you want to talk about his strategy, his Facebook strategy, his Instagram strategy, any of these questions, pop them in and we will ask them as we continue to move forward. So you're doing the 30 for 30. You're challenging the question of you got to pay to play. You're getting more organic reach, which I love. You're posting the day of.
Making it hard.
And you're making it harder on yourself, which is awesome.
Yeah, I am. Actually, I am. Right, but it is so time-wise, shooting the video is the least amount of time. Editing it is the next, but even still, I already know in my head, you're usually just taking a couple clips and you're putting them together. The hardest, not the hardest, but the lengthy time is now uploading to each of the platforms, tagging, locating, you know, putting in a thumbnail so it shows up here. That's probably about half hour, 45 minutes now.
Okay, to get it all distributed into the different channels.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that. Right? You don't have to. I'm social savvy.
I want to know
for everybody.
And we're going to shift on here in a minute to some other things that are going on in your world. But as we wrap up 30 for 30, where are you seeing right now the greatest interaction? So like, and Brian just asked a question. I'll ask this in a moment, Brian, but I'm just curious. You know, you're putting it on these different channels. Where are you getting the most engagement, interaction? Where are you seeing the greatest return?
Yeah, what's really interesting, probably between two audiences, non-realtors, it's coming from Instagram, realtor world and from my family is on Facebook.
Interesting. That's cool.
Right? It's been interesting. Like less personal is happening on Facebook, and it's all happening on Instagram feed, even more than stories.
Really, the feed you're getting more.
Yeah. But I'm also pushing different now, and this may be leading into the next question, but I'm also pushing people to engage with it. Not the note like, hey, like, comment, share. No, like and sure, comment, but I'm getting that away. Engage with us, right?
So where can people
do this park before? What's your thing? Like I'm telling them in the video or the post, I want to hear an answer back from you. Where before it was just like, hey, help me try to get it here. No, I want to have a conversation with you. And that's now our reach this week alone is up 14,000 since we started. My business page is up 14,000 reach.
That's insane. Right. Just from
like interaction. Over 500 organic personal profile views on Instagram since just going, hey, tag and engage.
What's your Instagram handle?
Mr. Social Savvy.
And so Brian is asking, how many followers have you started with? How many do you have now? How do you track? Like, what do you pay attention to when it comes to that? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what did I start with? Like before?
Yeah.
Like before the 30 and 30?
Sure. Yeah. How have you seen that?
Yeah, like I'll go back to my camera roll. I screenshotted my number of followers. I think I was just over 2,000 followers. Like I'm not one of those guys that's got 10,000 followers. And I actually weeded my list down from 4,000 down to, hey, people that are following me, I want to at least know who you are, right? And so that's also helped with the engagement, right? So, I don't really have a goal with, hey, would it be nice to get to 2,500? Sure. It's actually not about numbers. It's just more about being top of mind, delivering some value. Yeah, I don't have a goal. I don't want to say, hey, 30 and 30, and I want to have 1,000 new followers from there. That's not it.
It's not about the followers at that point.
No, but what I will be able to say is where did I see growth after? Because I have kept track of what did I start with and what did we end with.
Right.
I think, profile shares, or pardon me, profile visits that go to my website will be a great one because once you're in that world, I've got you pixeled. Followers would be good, but followers, you never know. Like they could be following you just to have you follow them back. So it's
right. Yeah. When it comes to the video content, Zach was asking this, like, are you creating a unique 30 for 30 for each platform? Like, how is the video you post to YouTube different than the video you're putting on Instagram?
Great question.
Yeah, so YouTube is now just the full length video. Now, granted, we're keeping these videos under 2 minutes.
Okay.
So it's the same thing, but we're doing a playlist. We're building the library of my channel that's already there. Because if you're keyword searching, and then we're changing our keywords, right? So that strategy is there. Now we're taking pretty much the same text and putting them in each post.
Yeah.
Not necessarily copy pasting, but twisting it a bit, taking out the ad handles and whatnot. But it's really the same video. If you've got a 1.5-minute video and you're putting it on the Instagram feed, well, I'm cutting it so that you can have multiple videos coming one after the other.
So you can carousel them, right? So if you're not familiar with that strategy, Instagram, you can carousel videos. You can, I think, do they limit how many videos you can carousel?
Like 9, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically you could have a 9-minute video just in 1 minute slices and you got to keep swiping right, which is an interesting strategy that you're starting to see more and more people do to get longer form content in the Instagram.
Well, and the thing that I wish Instagram will do, and I'm sure they will, but I'd like to know how many people are swiping. Yeah, like, what are the views for the multiple photos, or how many people went next? Because I can tell on Insta stories how many people went next, right? And that's probably the platform that is the most creative, that gets away from the other 3 pillars, right? So we're mixing polls in, we're tagging, we're adding GIFs in and emojis and icons and really getting kind of creative there.
Right.
That would be the most creative one. And what's really neat there in that platform is we release 1 per day, and I'm not really mixing a bunch of other stuff in between there. So for this month, if you're going to my feed, or not my feed, my story, you're only going to see 30 for 30s. But then I've got the highlight where it's the 30 for 30 icon. And so if you click that, you're going to see all 5 days. So,
right.
So that's
Just
the
builds on
convention is going to be 30 days, bookmark one spot.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. All right, thanks. Well, not thanks, but everyone that is watching.
Thanks for coming on. See you, Jesse.
Yeah, well, see you later, Jesse. We're done. No, we got some other stuff we got to cover. But if you're watching, please keep these comments coming. Great questions. As you can tell, Jesse is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to video strategies, tactics, and social. But I want to pivot a little bit on how are you, like you mentioned, you've been at this game for a bit. You've been doing it for a while. You've been doing the video. It's helping you grow your business. But when you think about other ways that you're generating business, you're talking about forums and some other things that are kind of exciting for you right now that kind of falls away a little bit from, quote, video strategy. What are you doing around that side of things to be getting people's information?
Yeah, you know what? There's a few ways we're doing it, and we're really diving deeper into all the other tools and opportunities that can be found in the world of BombBomb, specifically forms now, right? Or utilizing emails, but forms. And so what we're doing now is we do just list or just sold videos, right? So instead of the just sold postcards, I'm literally sign gets hung, I'm walking down the step. Hey, guess what? Just sold. Here's kind of a little bit about it. Our team goal is to get your home seen, showcased, and socially sold. You want to learn the strategies? We'd love to share about you. Click book now, click learn more, and the learn more button or the book now button goes directly to a BombBomb form, okay, which is socialsavvyhomes.ca/market valuation. So it's on my site. You can check it out. It's all there. Yep. Required name, email, address. The rest of the information is what have you upgraded in your home? And it's all like radio buttons, right? When's the best time to call you? Do you want it in a text? Do you want it in a video? And then submit now, right? And then a little pop-up says, hey, we're not machines. We'll get back to you. And then that goes right to a contact list contacts. Goes to the contacts list that says book a market valuation 2018.
Wait, real quick. I just want to back up to that line because that's a brilliant line right now in today's day and age when everything is automated. I love having a little auto pop up saying, "Hey, we're real people. We're not machines. We believe in doing business, a different way and providing a lot of value. That takes time. We'll get back to you soon." Like a reason like that. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's great.
Right. And so that was, I think I learned a little bit of that line even back in the BombBomb convert class a few years ago.
Don't give us all that.
Come on, man. Come on. I'm alumni here. I'm pretty proud of it. We're also now doing forms with our, I'm gaining information on my existing clients. Hey, let's update your social profiles. Where can I follow you, right? So, hey, we have our social savvy client list on Facebook. Well, I want to make sure that I'm following people on Instagram, and you can start forming groups on Instagram and having those things kind of sent out. And then RSVPs. We do client parties. Hey, click RSVP, and yes, no, how many guests attending. So that's been a lot of fun. And what I did discover, hold on, Steve, I know something's on your mind here.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited the moment I was able to use the iMessage BombBomb app and bring in video, right? Awesome. Okay. Kind of scares people sometimes when they're like, hey, it's Jesse, right in your phone. But what I did recognize here that's actually probably getting a stronger engagement is from the custom email that I take the shareable URL and then I copy paste it into the text, and the template of the email shows up, and then the subject line shows up, and it says, you're invited, RSVP, please, right? So the subject line shows up. So it's like they don't even have to hit the video to see it going, right? And then it's just kind of like boom, text, boom, text, boom, text. And we're getting a faster engagement for our client parties than it was with when we talk again. Just right. It looks really good.
This is totally like a selfish question right now. I don't know how many people might be able to help on the BombCast, but as you're speaking, Jesse, and you have all these great social media strategies, and you're sharing all this information, with everyone, and you're detailing your pillar strategy with your content and everything else. Like, people know that you are the social savvy realtor. You branded yourself as the social savvy realtor. Have you ever considered, again, this is total weird question, but have you ever considered providing training and education to your sphere of influence on social media? And it's like, hey, I'm Jesse, the social savvy realtor. I sell your homes through social media strategies, but I can also give you tips on how to keep your, blah, 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 your family safe and this. Have you ever thought about doing videos around that? Has that crossed your mind?
Yeah,
No, it was a terrible idea. I shouldn't even say.
No, but Steve, that's more of the macro idea. And also, like, take note, I'm sitting in a co-working workplace where there are loads of entrepreneurs and utilizing, the skills that I have. And I know a bunch of people here, and those conversations be like, how can I use video in my business? How can you use social? And they're like, can you do a workshop here?
Right.
And that's the giving. And that's also the networking and contributing, and just kind of, it's what I'm definitely drawn to is.
Hey, so
I thought you were recruiting me, Steve, to do Canada.
Well, I'm just saying.
Hey, Jesse, Kelly, who's watching over on YouTube, was saying that she was at a conference with Jared James, and he was talking about how awesome Instagram is right now. But where do you see Instagram and Facebook right now? Is Facebook less effective? Are you comparing the two? Like, what's your perspective on those kind of two platforms right now?
They almost have two different audiences now, right? And you have to understand the audience that you're appealing to. I definitely think there is more of a business professional strategy now on Facebook than there ever was, and I think Instagram is appealing more to the raw, the real, the unpolished. Like, if you go Instagram live, there's no real countdown. You're just boom in it. Where if you're going Facebook live, there's that more. It's mature. It's more mature, right?
This platform,
and that's kind of where that is. I think Facebook presents more opportunity for advertising. It's just grown up more, right? Mm-hmm. And so understanding that there's two different audiences there now, picking one over the other, I won't. There's huge value in both, but I am sharing more personal on the Instagram side of things, because I've done that on Facebook, right? Now on Facebook, we're getting more into geo-targeting, split testing, building the brand name, not the Jesse Peters name.
Yes. I think so. To me, the only thing I'd add on to that, Kelly, is it's not about when you say less effective, it's about what you're measuring. And Facebook now, if you're a business, you have to exist like a business on Facebook. You can no longer really be a personal realtor, and have a personal profile and accomplish all of the things that you can do on Facebook. They're going to begin limiting your reach. They're going to begin doing some things. So you can't run a business on a personal page anymore within the kind of the Facebook land. You got to be a business, which means you got to provide a little bit more, quote, growing up material, whatever that means. But on Instagram, you can still blend, I think, a little bit more of that personal. You can still be a little bit more of kind of that human being element. And in the moment, and stories is incredible because it's that content that goes away. And so it's not like someone's going to scroll back through your feed and see what you were doing, 10 days ago, or Jesse, when you were at the whatever that sport is you guys play in Canada that's somewhat popular for a few people, and you were freaking blowing up my story feed. But that goes away, right? Now I remember it and it's memorable, but it's not like I go back through your news feed and see now I might, but I think you know what I mean. So I think, Kelly, that's the key thing is, what are you trying to be effective in? And these platforms are still incredibly effective. And like freaking pennies on the dollar when it comes to advertising on Facebook and stuff.
It's insane, actually. And probably even more so, like the stats and the knowledge that Facebook's providing, and you can't get that on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, and Instagram's upping their game. Like their new insights is pretty insane. Like you can start seeing what's working and stuff, but it's different than Facebook.
But here's even the more interesting thing. When I'm running split tests and videos and all that stuff through my sponsored ads, I'm selecting Instagram and I'm still getting more views on Facebook. I'm still getting more interaction. But if I boost something, right, from the Instagram, right, and you got 3 things you could pick from, right, like area, profile visits, or direction to website, right, like getting a huge bang for like $5, $10, right? It's different, but the value still, in my opinion, is on Facebook. The real value when you're starting to study, hey, am I getting an ROI here? What's my KPI? Where, is an image working more than a video? Yeah.
Right. Because sweet. All right. Well, if you have other questions, please ask. Typically, we like to keep the BombCast to about half an hour to honor our guests and their time for breaking away from their busy days to be with us. And we've been hanging out for a little over a half hour now. But I always have a final question that I love asking our guests. I'm going to ask you, Jesse. Audience, if you have other questions, drop them in. If we see them pop up, we'll ask them before Jesse goes away. But Jesse,
don't go away.
Yeah.
I'm not, man. I'm here as long as you want. I got this room booked for another half an hour. So hey.
Hey, so Jesse, tell me something right now that you're just absolutely obsessing about in your business.
I am obsessing about traditional advertising and how to put a video social spin on it to gain the results faster than what a postcard or a bus bench could do. Really obsessing on that, just in terms of geo-targeting just sold to the right audience that saw me do just listed and directing them to the website. That is a big one. And then, really beginning like, how are we getting engagement? What are the rules on Instagram to really kind of get a post or a video to go more viral, to get on the explore page? How quick we now need to respond? Who can I collaborate with? What location do I need to do? Those are probably the 2 things in the social real estate world. But also, really kind of too, keeping in mind, connecting back with my clients, building the know, like, and trust and the thank you. So we've got some client events coming up. We're doing a care box. We're doing a few different things going into the summer to get them ready for the summer. So.
Awesome. I love it. Well, you mentioned people can find you on Instagram. Give them some other handles, and then tell us about boot camp. You kind of briefly mentioned that, but you run these video boot camps. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So where you can find me on Twitter and Instagram is at Mr. Social Savvy. And you can go to my personal page, facebook.com/Mr. Social Savvy. My business page, you type in Jesse Peters - your social savvy team at Remax One Group. There's the legality name. That's where you can find us there.
Wait. There's one more place where they can find you. Ari.
Oh, I know. We were getting there with the boot camp, and the other are you ready for this? Check out, if you are loving all things video and want to really become part of the real estate video culture and part of a community that supports, inspires, and takes action, check out revideostudio.com, which is an amazing website that my partner and co-founder Michael Thorne and I put together, along with our other, I'll call it the triplex here, BombBomb and Shania and everyone in the group who helped put this together. Facebook.com/RevsNation. You got to check that out. We are almost 2,200 realtors, mortgage people, all sorts of industries who are looking to learn from each other, whether you're on chapter 1 of video or chapter 20. These groups are solely focused on video and executing and being able to support each other there. The learning curve is scooping like this. And so that's something Michael Thorne and I want to create. And so what we've spun off from that, I won't say spun off from, but now is what's collaborating together is Michael Thorne and I put on a video boot camp that we teach around the world now. It's a 2-day video boot camp where there's like 10 to 12 modules, workshops, we'll call them. They're live in person. Camps where you sit down and you dive deep for 2 days with 50 of your colleagues, learning more about what's the theory of video, more than listing videos, how to shoot, how to edit. And then once you have this amazing product, how do we disperse it? How do we market it? How do we use the strategies that are out there so that you can become the social video influencer in your community? So yeah, we've been teaching that for 2 years, and now coming out with under the Revs Nation umbrella for probably 3/4 of a year. So we were just in Chicago. We just sold out Toronto. Just sold out Chicago. We've got like 8 seats left for Toronto, which happens just after Father's Day, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we're hitting up the East Coast at the end of September. And then we're going overseas to Amsterdam in October.
Nice. And I hear in Q2 of 2019, you're doing a huge video event that's going to be amazing called Rehumanize, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yes! Rehumanize is like when the news came out, and this was something that's been on the radar and talked about on a macro level for so long. So we cannot wait. If there's 1 week you need to mark in your calendar, if your heart pumps with excitement when you talk about video, that is it. And we're
so I love
pumped to have BombBomb running, leading the way with this.
Tim just brought up a great question. He said, who are the social savvy mortgage lenders? And should he, if there aren't any, rip it off and duplicate?
Well, first of all, social savvy is trademarked and registered.
Oh, sorry, okay. Tim. You can't be the social savvy mortgage lender. But
okay,
I love it, Tim.
People who are utilizing those, and if you are looking for inspiration, Javier Garcia with Federal Title Mortgage, he is awesome. He actually sponsored our event in BombBomb, and I think BombBomb's got their top influencers coming out with the mortgage lenders.
Yeah, Tim, hang out. In
2 weeks.
2 weeks. The BombCast episode in 2 weeks is going to be all about our mortgage video influencers guide.
Awesome.
Which we have been hard at work on. And in that guide, there are 10 people that are absolutely crushing it specifically in social, between YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then our all-around winners. That's going to give you some deep insight to how loan officers are applying this exact same strategy. So make sure you're checking that out as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
All around, honorable mentions.
Yeah. I can't wait for it. Can't wait. And I think this is amazing because it's an amazing education tool for everyone to lean on, like this library of wealth and knowledge. And that's the thing, Jay, you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. Video bootcamp is just not for real estate.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how can this be applied? Okay, maybe not in a listing video sense, but in terms of how to get out on social, how to utilize YouTube, how to edit, how to get comfortable in front of the camera. What are different ideas you can do than just talking about your business, whether you're in the lender industry, whether you're in the automotive industry, whether you're in the balloon industry, the donut industry. It's all these pillars, right, that can kind of go together. So
absolutely. Awesome.
Well, awesome, Jesse.
Well, you're the man. You're the man. Appreciate you. Thanks for taking some time. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening today on the BombCast. Trust me, as we wrap up, not wrap up, it's like the first week of the month, but I'm already thinking towards the end of June because I'm excited for the mortgage video influencer. So make sure you're checking that out. We'll be live again next week on Thursday, same time, same place. I want to make sure you join us then. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.
See ya.